Back here on the Swag. Good to have you here with us. In case you missed it, the first postseason battle of Alberta in 31 years did not disappoint. So the Flames get a hat trick from Matthew Tkachuk to outlast the Oilers 9-6. They grabbed one of the second round series. That was Wednesday night. We saw the most goals in postseason in a postseason game in 3 decades, 29 years. Meanwhile, over in Carolina, an absolute snoozle compared to our neighbors of the north. 2-1 overtime win over the Rams. Let's get after it here with this all-star panel. NHL.com's Anna Dua, RotoWire's AJ Scholz, Paul Bruno here for some opening face-off because we got a couple game twos tonight. But real quick here, Paul, we're going to be seeing more like nail biters on the East Coast and then just goals galore out west. What's going on?
You know what? It's an old-fashioned shootout in the Wild West, and I loved it. I hope we get more and more of that stuff. I want to see some dropping of gloves too. The threatening, the glances. There were too many there without any punches thrown. So that's what was missing for me.
All right, Anna, last night was insane. What were you thinking watching that play out?
It was absolutely insane. Those 2 games couldn't be any more opposite. I thought that first game was going to end up only having 1 goal. Carolina obviously fought back and won in overtime, but then you go over up north to the west and you see all these goals. Edmonton tying the game 6-6, but then Calgary coming out top. Whoever bet the over probably is cheering today. So it was great to watch. I hope it continues. I think that's going to be a pretty close series.
All right, yeah. Imagine betting the under in that one, AJ.
or even worse, imagine coming on here and recommending using Markstrom yesterday. That did not look like a good take. I also would like to know who had Ian Cole scoring a postseason goal on their bingo card. Not one that you're going to see too often, despite the fact that he is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion.
All right, now I need your recommendations for who to stuff inside these lineups tonight, lady and gentlemen. Tampa and Colorado took the first game in their respective series. So who's the center you're paying up for tonight, Anna?
So I'm actually going to go with a little bit of a better deal as one of the options, Nick Paul for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So he's playing a bigger role with the absence of Braden Point, and he's really found his fit with Tampa since coming over from Ottawa. Had 14 points in 21 games with the Lightning in the regular season compared to 18 points in 59 games with the Senators before he made his way down south. So he's really found his fit with this team. His production is continuing into the postseason. Sorry, Paul, but he had those 2 goals against the Leafs in Game 7 to help Tampa reach this point. So I think he's a great option. If not him, Ryan O'Reilly for the St. Louis Blues. He's had a goal in every single game except for 1 this postseason. Was great against Colorado in the regular season. 4 points, 3 goals, 1 assist in just 2 games. So either of those 2 would be a great option.
All right, AJ, who's your center tonight?
I'm going to stick with Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, I know the price tag is huge at $9K. It's $1,600 more expensive than Alexander Barkov, who's next on there. But look, game point streak, averaging a ridiculous 7.4 shots per game in the postseason here. He's just too good for me to leave out of your lineup. On the smaller slate, you probably have to pick and choose your top-end guys here, but I think Nathan MacKinnon is worth the price.
Okay, how high are you going up here in center, Paul?
Well, there's a saying that the series is not on until the home team loses a game, and that already happened to Florida, and they can't afford to go down 2-zip. And look at the stat line of Alex Barkov, though, in games, and 5 shots on goal, 23 minutes played. I think if he gets the same ice time and the same shot volume, there's no way he's going to be kept silent on the score sheet. So I'm going to gladly pay up to grab him. And I also would like to pair him with Nazem Kadri of the Avs. $6,000, that low price tag. Avs number 2 center. He plays in all the high leverage minutes on the power play and so on. And in the first game, he had 5 shots as well, 3 hits, a blocked shot. That added up to about 16.5 DK points. And I think that's his floor in game number 2 because he's going to be back in all those high octane situations. And I think he capitalizes this evening.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are just kind of sick of playing little brother there to the Lightning in the Sunshine State. So, AJ, I mean, speaking of that game, like Kucherov had a goal and an assist in game 1. Is he your pick at win? Do you want to go in another direction?
Well, I think if you don't go MacKinnon, you absolutely should think about Kucherov. That's exactly what I was talking about when you had to pick and choose your spot. But for me, since I'm going with Mac, I'm going to look at Stamkos instead at 6,400. 5 points, 8 postseason contests. 3 of those assists coming with the man advantage here. And he's playing on both the top line and top power play unit with Kucherov. So it's a good way to get a share of Kucherov without having to pay up directly for him. So I think it's worth saving up and use McKinnon. If you don't want McKinnon, even if you got Barkov, you could figure out how to get Kucherov in here. So I do think it ultimately comes down to one or the other.
All right, Anna, you have 4 players here between $7,000, which is Kucherov, and then $6,200 Huberdeau.
So what about if you want to get the benefits of Nathan McKinnon, Nichushkin? Like, it has to be one of the best options on wing. He has goals in his past 3 playoff games, playing with Nathan McKinnon, who is one of the most dynamic postseason players out there, coming off of the best NHL season of his career, 52 points in 62 regular season games. And he's actually 6th in the NHL this postseason with shots on goal with an average of 4.8 per game. So he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. Kucherov, always a safe bet. He's a great way to go. But if you wanted to get all the of McKinnon for a little less price, Nichushkin would be a good option.
All right, Paul, what's your strategy here at wing?
Well, look, Kucherov did have a big game. He looked very engaged. I think, though, there's an opportunity to save money on him and go for some of the other big boys. I'm not shying away from the Avs top line. They got combined 4 assists in game 1. I'm looking for some of those guys to hit the score sheet. So I'm all over Rantanen and Landeskog on the wings at $6,700 and $5,900 tonight. If you're going to shy away from McKinnon, I see no reason why you shouldn't spend the money to get his top playmates on the power play, and some guys that get regular shifts with them too. So those are my 2 guys that I recommend. And I also like Carter Verhaeghe for $4,000, one of the bargains on the board, considering that he was on fire in that first round. He's got 14 points in his last 10 games overall, and he only cost $4,000 on Barkov's wing. So I say that's a solid play tonight.
Well, what about back on the blue line, Paul? I mean, any bargains there, or is this a pay-up spot?
You know what? I'll give you one of each. I think there's a pay-up spot when you consider that situation. 2 of their defensemen scored goals, but neither one was Makar or Taves. Those guys each got 4 shots on goal in the first game. I think you could easily see a repeat because they're all over the shot volume charts on a regular basis, these 2 guys, and they won't miss out on the point parade that will come evening, I think. Taves is the cheaper of the 2, and that's the deciding factor for me, getting in the lineup over Makar for only $5,100 tonight. My expectation on the Panthers, I already said, I expect them to have a big performance. And so why not look at one of their defensemen, Mackenzie Weegar, for instance, $4,100 is his price tag. That's pretty cheap for a guy who averaged almost 3 shots on goal per game and had over 40 points this year.
Yeah, Anna, can you justify paying $8,200 for Makar tonight? $1,600 more than the next guy.
For sure. And I think that he is a great option. Obviously, as Paul mentioned, there are a ton of great options on the Colorado blue line. But how about we shift over to the other series and talk about Aaron Ekblad? It's time for the Ekblad revenge tour. He wasn't in the postseason last time against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Florida's not going to want to go down 2-0 at home. So I could see him having a big night. He has 5 points in 7 games this postseason, 2 points in the regular season against the Lightning, and you've got to expect that he's going to make a big impact.
All right, AJ, what do you want to do on the blue line?
I'm going to stick with Colorado and go with Makar. The points are come here eventually. Again, I think he's worth it. This matchup is too good for Colorado for these top guys in both McKinnon and Makar to stay too quiet for too long. If you want cheaper, Samuel Girard, I think, is a good option. I think you're hitting when the iron is hot, obviously, with that goal. He's still under 3K. And this is a guy that has a solid offensive upside to his game. You look at his numbers, consistently a 20 to 30 point producer on the year. He just doesn't get all the same opportunities as he might with another team because of Makar and Taylor, but I think he's still worth looking at. I probably wouldn't bank on Josh Manson getting another goal in the postseason. He's probably got his one lightning in a bottle situation.